What's up, guys? Intelitech Studios here, and today we have another vacuum cleaner. This is the Hoover Constellation, and that's about all I know about it. There is, to my knowledge, no date code or anything anywhere on the unit, at least not that I can see, so there's really not much. Or wait, no. I didn't think to look on the bottom, did I? Is there anything down here? Oh, this has a blower function? Or at least I'm assuming that's what that is for. Here we go. So, the second I say that, I don't think to check the bottom. Wow, okay. Hoover Company, North Canton, Ohio. Hoover Model 843 Constellation Cleaner 75257. Wow. 257th day of 1975 is what I presume that says. Okay, so I scratched that. This is a... Ooh, look at that. This is a 1975 Hoover Constellation. And this thing, I got this from my local Habitat for Humanity thrift store, the same one where I get a lot of vacuums from, in fact. And this thing had actually been there for a very long time. The reason I missed it was because they didn't have this with the other vacuum cleaners. They had this up at the front where they had a lot of the antique furniture, and that's why I didn't see it. Now, the reason I was able to get a hold of it is, well, nobody bought it. The reason nobody bought it? Look at this price tag that they put on it. This is ridiculous. See what that says? That says July 31st. And when I bought this, I want to say it was October 11th, I want to say. 10th, maybe 9th. It was a few days ago. So why did it sit there for 2.5 months? Well, because of the price tag. $50. Now, did I pay $50 for this? Absolutely not. Not even close. Because, in fact, I looked at it, and this was sitting, yes, at the front, but not too far away, well within earshot of the people at the register. And I remember saying that I was a vacuum collector and asking if they had any other vacuums. Because when I looked at my local Habitat for Humanity thrift store that I am currently talking about, they did have an old Eureka Sanitaire, or like a Eureka F&G machine that was a newer one, albeit it was, I believe it was like the last one they made when they were still making them in Mexico. But they wanted $25 for it. The handle was loose on it. It otherwise was in good condition, but still, I decided to pass up on that. The only other thing they had is they had a Hoover floor mat and some stick backs. Nothing too extraordinary. I did look in the back, and they had a Dirt Devil feather light, and the only reason I saw is because in like the big entryway to the back where all the employees are, I saw a Dirt Devil feather light. It was like a dark green, I believe is a direct air, dark green Dirt Devil feather light. Probably the one with the really big Dirt Devil logo on the bag. But that was all I saw. So I asked him about if there was anything else, and she said, "Oh, you're a vacuum collector. Well, you might love this." And I looked at the price tag, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that is way too much for that thing. And my fiance was looking at it with me, and he was like, "This is actually kind of cool." And I was thinking to myself, yeah, it's cool, but it's not $50 cool, not even close. This thing is not worth $50, not even close. I wouldn't pay a penny over 20 for this thing. And then the girl who was at the register, who was within earshot, heard what I said and said, "You know what?" She said it like we were negotiating, even though normally this place does not allow negotiations, not even close. Because there have been times where I've gone up there wanting to buy a vacuum and I had like $1 less than the price tag, and they were like, "Nope, you can't have it." So they normally do not do any sort of negotiations. Like, it's usually you pay what's on the sticker, period, the end. But in this case, she was like, "That thing's been sitting there for a while. I can do 20 on it for you." And I'm assuming she was a manager or something. But either way, You know, whenever, whenever she said that, my fiance was like, "Get it, please," because I'm actually curious to see how well this thing works, and it looks really cool because it's old. And my fiance is not a vacuum collector, not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I'm not gonna say that he doesn't like my vacuum collecting hobby, but it's certainly, you know, it's certainly been weird for him, for them for sure. But yeah, so anyways, I finally pay for this thing. We leave, and I look at some other places. There's nothing there, of course. And this thing comes home with me. And everything that you see here is what it comes with the exception of it had 2 extra extension wands. Even though this is like a normal size wand, there were 2 extra extension wands, and there was 1 bag with it. There was a Kenmore Type C bag, which obviously is nowhere near the right bag. And why it was included with this, I have no idea, but it was. I'm not going to complain about something being included. After all, I'm a vacuum repair technician and collector. If it has an extra bag and doesn't go with it, I don't care. I'll probably find a machine that needs that bag at some point anyways. So what's the harm in that? Anyways, so, and you can see it says vacuum accessories, new bags. Everything's labeled. You can see like the hose. I don't know if you can see that up there. There's a little piece of tape on the label. All the attachments are labeled properly. We've got a crevice tool. We've got 2 upholstery tools for some reason. So we got 2 of these for whatever reason. Unfortunately, this is cracked right here. You can see that's cracked pretty badly, as is the crevice tool. See, this side's okay, but this side's cracked. You can see it's actually split in half. You can see an attempt was made to glue it, but obviously the glue did absolutely nothing. And that's basically that. So it has a full set of attachments, but presumably one of these spots is supposed to be a dusting brush, because I don't think it's supposed to come with 2 identical looking upholstery tools, but for whatever reason it does. And you can tell they're all designed to fit in here. You can see the little hole where the little locking piece goes into. So, but I'm assuming one of these is supposed to be a brush, and it's just 2 identical looking upholstery tools. But, I mean, I guess it kind of has a complete set of attachments, so I'm not going to complain too much. And, finally, I'm going to remove this hose just to make this a bit easier. When we open this up, which I forgot where the latch was on this, it's... I don't remember where the latch was, but it's somewhere. Oh, it's back here. Okay. There's a little latch back here. Flip that up, and then this flips forward, and there is a bag. And the bag still has a good amount of space in it. It's a genuine Hoover bag. No gasket, of course, in traditional old Hoover fashion. Got this weird little filter right here. It looks kind of sketchy, but it looks okay to me. I'm not much of an expert on these, but of course, you know, when they're back before real filters were invented, it's just a piece of cloth that's held over a peg with a big piece of metal. So, but hey, it does the trick. It obviously kept enough dirt and dust out of this motor to keep it running. Spoiler alert. Because, I mean, seriously, God forbid if they tried to sell this thing for $50 as is, let alone if it didn't run. But yeah, speaking of running, we can go ahead and plug this back in. Let me actually make sure the bag is... Yep, that's the bag entrance right there. Make sure that's... This is a bit loose for whatever reason. And of course this has a little switch. The switch doesn't appear to do anything. That's what the base looks like. Got a little brush right there. I guess actually the switch does kind of help the brush stay in. It's got these little wheels, little suction inlet. Pretty interesting. One thing I will say that I was very impressed with this machine. Oh, and the other thing is that the hose is split somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but somewhere there's a split in the hose. It's not too bad of a split, but it's still a split nonetheless. I don't exactly remember where it was. It wasn't too bad of a split, but it is still a split in the hose. But yeah, so there's that. And now we're just going to go ahead and give this a run. So amazingly, this thing has very impressive suction given its age. But yeah, I couldn't find that split in the hose, but I could hear it when using it. Whenever I would pull it, and it would pull the hose. And of course, it's all floaty and stuff. But yeah, after using this, I really would like to get my hands on one of those 0G machines, because this thing is one of the few canisters where I actually don't mind using it as much. Although, granted, this one is, don't get me wrong, it's still very heavy and cumbersome, but since it glides pretty easily and it doesn't have any wheels, it moves a lot more effortlessly than a machine that has fixed wheels and not a very good caster system. And yeah, it just gets to the point where it makes a lot of canisters, especially modern canisters, very annoying to use. This one does not really have that problem, especially considering how weighty the actual machine is. It's surprisingly efficient, so it'd be really cool to see if Hoover still sold this, which they don't. I believe these are discontinued around 2009-ish. And obviously the modern iteration was very, very similar to this, but just basically just an updated color scheme at the time, at around like 2008 or so. But yeah, so that's the 1975 Hoover Constellation. And yeah, this thing is pretty ancient by technological standards, but still works and still has really good suction, still cleans pretty okay. You know, it actually has enough suction to where I'm actually curious to see if I have a turbo brush, or if there is a turbo brush that fits this weird fitting where you could actually put like a turbo brush on this and use this to clean carpet. That'd be very fascinating to know. But yeah. Anyways, this is Inteltech Studios signing out with the acquisition of the Hoover Constellation. Definitely a very interesting machine, and one that I'm not one to keep canisters, but this one I'm kind of wrestling with myself as far as whether or not to sell it on, or to actually try to find the few parts it needs and keeping it in the collection. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. But yeah, this is Inteltech Studios signing out. See you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace.